So, they arrived. Now, I've often done videos about hockey cards, which have met with mixed reactions. Some people say, well, it's a hockey channel, not a collector's channel as much as it's just talk hockey. Let's see some more season previews. Let's see some hockey stuff. But see, there's a reason I collect crappy cards. I don't think there are crappy cards. Not at this point. I used to think that. That's why I never had the first set of Pro Set. I collected Upper Deck. I collected O-Pee-Chee because I collected O-Pee-Chee every year of my childhood. But Pro Set, I was like, oh, I heard about all the errors, and I was like, oh, there's no way I'm not buying that. So I never did. So this is literally the first time that I've bought it. I saw it in the stores. I saw people buying them, and I said, I'm never going to own Pro Set. Too many errors. But there's a reason that I bought them. The hardest card on ice. It's a window. Dino Ciccarelli, first card. So it's a window into a guy's career. Into where they were at. So Dino Ciccarelli. Dino's among the NHL's most feared snipers. He's averaged better than a point a game in his 10-year NHL career. He wasn't drafted, and so signed as a free agent with the North Stars in 1979. He became a Capital in 1989 in a deal that sent Mike Gartner and Larry Murphy to Minnesota. So Larry Murphy was no stranger to being involved in big trades. True to form, he topped Washington scorers in 89-90 with 41 goals and 38 assists. So there you go. Go do that over there. The pack also includes Keith Brown, the Vezina Trophy, Bob Essenza. That's technically a rookie card. They overproduced so much that year that it really doesn't matter. Brian Hayward, Adam Oates. So that's kind of cool. I'm very happy that I got Adam Oates. That was his first 100-point season, too. And Hayward, of course, is better known now for being on Hockey Night in Canada. Paul Maclean. Dave Lowry. See, kids, this is when packs had more than 4 or 5 cards in them. Steve Bozek, and you didn't have to wait for short prints to get a good player. Basil McRae. Michel Petit, who played for almost everybody because nobody really wanted him, but everybody wanted him at the same time. It was one of those strange things. Petit played for, I think, 9 teams. Tony Tanny. This was the year he was traded to Pittsburgh. He had 64 points for Pittsburgh that year. He was a pretty good player. If he had played for one of the higher profile teams, and if he hadn't been stuck on really bad Canuck teams in the 80s, he'd have a higher profile. First team All-Star, Al McInnes. Or 1999 All-Star Game, Al McInnes. It's Rick Vive. I've talked about him before, and now he's one of my favorite Maple Leafs at the time. And one of my favorite Sabres, there you go, Mike Ramsey. So that's why I collect what I collect. For me, it's not about how much the cards are worth, because most collectors I know don't sell their cards. You don't sell them. So you can sit and talk about value, but the value only matters if you're going to sell them. And if you're buying them just to sell them, then I'm not sure what you're doing. Oh, there we go. So, alright, out of the first 2 packs, if I'm going to go through and pull out just Hall of Famers. Hall of Famers and players of interest out of 2 packs. Larry Robinson's a Hall of Famer. Mike Liut isn't a Hall of Famer, but he's a player of interest because he's been a pretty hard-nosed agent since he retired. Steve Larmer's not a Hall of Famer, but Iron Man. Hawks fans will be glad to see him. Luke Richardson. I've been saying for the last year in videos that he should be a head coach somewhere in the NHL. Kind of surprised he isn't. Doug Gilmour, Hall of Famer. Scott Mellenby, who smacked the rat in Florida. Tom Kurvers, who I've discussed before. I've discussed Kurvers before. Oh, Tom joined the Leafs after appearing in just one game for the Devils last season. He went on to play 70 games for Toronto, picking up an impressive 52 points. Second among Leaf defensemen. Tom was originally with the Canadiens, who drafted him 145th overall in 1981. He was traded from Toronto to New Jersey. Wasn't that the Rob Niedermeyer deal? Or Scott Niedermeyer deal? If it was Rob, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Pretty sure that Scott Niedermeyer was the draft pick that went the other way. What is it with Leafs trading away franchise players? Austin Matthews should be celebrated for the fact that they didn't trade him away. McCowan, there's another Hall of Famer, Brett Hull. Another Hall of Famer, my buddy, Cam Neely. And then from the first pack, Vive's not a Hall of Famer, but he's noteworthy. Al McInnes is a Hall of Famer. Paul Maclean's noteworthy for his coaching career. Hayward for the fact that he's, an on-air personality. Adam Oates, Hall of Famer. So I've got Hull and Oates out of the first two packs. And Dino Ciccarelli, who recently went into the Hall of Fame. That's why I collect hockey cards. That's why when people say, I'll just send you a set. There's not as much fun in a set. I don't mind getting sets either. I got a set of Upper Deck last week because I didn't want to have to buy more boxes, and I was going to buy more boxes. I know myself well enough to know I was going to buy more boxes. But for me, it's all a look back in the past. So when people talk about my knowledge of hockey and things that have happened, it's because I never stop touching base with the past. Stino, let's look at Steve Bozek, who was one of my favorite Canucks at the time. Bozek broke into the NHL with the Kings in 1981. Enjoyed his best season that year. After 2 years in LA, he was dealt to Calgary. His next stop was St. Louis as part of the Brett Hull deal. That's one of those little, facts that get thrown in that people go, how does he remember that? He became a Canuck in 1988. He majored in accounting while attending the University of Northern Michigan. He lives in Vancouver year-round. And Bozak was one of my favorites. The nice thing, too, is that this is the Canucks jersey with the orange and gold before they went to red and yellow. So that's noteworthy. And again, this is all stuff that's just noteworthy and stuff I find interesting. And this is why I collect hockey cards. I don't care what they're worth because it doesn't matter. The only time the worth matters is if I'm going to sell them. So yeah, I could go out and get a brand new box of O-Pee-Chee and maybe I pull out a card that's worth $40-50. I'm not going to sell it. So if I'm not going to sell it, it doesn't really matter, does it? I've got some money cards here, but for me it's never been about the money. It's been about collecting. I am a collector. So let me know your collecting stories in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you so much for watching. I intend to open all 3 boxes that I got today. And I'll go through and make a set if I can. And if I'm able to make a second set, you never know. There could be a giveaway that happens. These kinds of things happen. And it's just pro set. It's not, there's no holograms and crap. I know they had a Stanley Cup hologram that was like one to a case or something. I guess that might be worth money, although I didn't see them selling on eBay. I saw them available on eBay, and they're not very high quality either. So that's where I care. Where I care is when I'm buying your insert card. If you have an insert card and I'm buying it, then I want to make sure it's a good card. But if I'm just buying packs and boxes, it's just random. It's fun. Anyways, so that's my story for today in terms of collecting. Let me know yours, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.